The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. Access Fort Wayne is a department of the Allen County Public Library. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250.
Hi, Dr. Rudy Kachmann here. Welcome to our Mind, Body, Spirit show. And Happy New Year to you. Let's start the new year right. And part of that, certainly 80% of our health, is nutrition. And that's what the show is about, the secret of the non-diet. What I'm trying to say to you is, you don't have to diet. You have to eat the right food. 70-80% of the time, you'll be healthy. Odds are you live to be 100 unless you get hit by a Mack truck. Okay, so let's get on with the show. The non-diet. Okay, I don't want to calorie counting or have to record anything. I will give you the knowledge. Okay, learn a little bit about the glycemic index. You can pull it up, Google it, pull it up, and that tells you the sugar content of food. I'll be honest with you. Sugar is the booger and the hooker, okay? There are bad fats, but sugar really is the main problem. 50 years, the government told us that it was a fat to eat less fatty food, eat more sugar. That's why we have a nation that's quite ill. Half the people have diabetes and it's 50 diseases, okay? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to prevent, and it's not that hard, okay? So look at the glycemic index. Like white bread would get very few, very high points for that, maybe 90 or 100 on the glycemic index. Fruit, actually, because of the fiber, maybe only 30. Beans, only 30 something. So you can kind of pick about the sugar content. We all have to eat some sugar. But a couple hundred years ago, we ate 5 pounds a year. Now we're eating over 200 pounds a year, mainly because of processed food. Industry and the government is not looking out for you. We have to look out for ourselves. That's the reason I'm here to teach you today. If you're going to eat some products that have sugar in them, but make sure they're whole grain. And I'm talking about 100% whole grain, and if you're reading labels, you should read labels. They should be number 1 on there, okay? 100%, otherwise you don't want them. And by whole grain, we mean, for example, a bean, which is on a covering called the bran that protects the bean from the sun, for example. Then we have the endosperm. That's the complex carbs that are in the bean, which can be good for you because they're full of fiber. And then we have the germ, which have the reproductive elements and a lot of the vitamins and minerals that are for good health that are in the germ. And that's where the roots come from and the flowers grow from, is from the germ part of a whole grain, okay? I'd like you to eat a lot of legumes, a lot of beans and peas, as they're very healthy. They're full of vitamins, full of normal minerals that you need, phytochemicals that run the machinery of your body. So eating a lot of vegetables and beans and whole grain and fruits lead to good health. You eat that way 70-80% of the time, you're going to be healthy. You're going to look good. There's actually mathematics in good food, Fibonacci numbers, biomathematics. So if you eat like plant foods, you'll look like a plant. It's mathematically determined. And I'll show you some pictures later to prove my point. stress reduction, I think, is important. Most of us are stress eaters. We all have some stress every day, okay? If I come home late at night, I don't allow a donut in the house, but if there's one there, odds are I'll be eating it, because nature designed in us a dopamine and serotonin circuitry that we would seek some sugary foods for a quick fix, like a cigarette or alcohol or marijuana or technology. They can be quick fixes, but they lead to habituation and addiction. And so remember, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Yes. I debated that one time with somebody, and I think they won the debate because they thought it was sugar. So if there's a fiber is your friend, if there's a lot of fiber in the food, like vegetables and fruit have a lot of fiber, they're complex sugars that will not be digested as they make their way through your gut and down your stool. So eat 1,000 calories of high fibrous food, you might absorb 60, 70%. 300 calories went in the stool. So it's much easier to lose weight. And it takes so much energy to break these fibers apart, because some of them will be digested. That's the energy metabolism, energy you lose, and there'll be weight loss as a reward, okay? I'm not too much on multivitamins, maybe vitamin D, or occasional patient needs a multivitamin, but actually, if you eat the vitamins themselves in their food, their mosaic of interaction leads to good health. Yes. If you take the supplement, maybe 10% is at best metabolized. That's been proven. But some people need some vitamin D, and occasional patient needs maybe B12 or some omega-3 fats, but that's about it. I know people take 100 supplements that causes their liver to work very hard. It's not healthy, not healthy. And the good fats are omega-3 fats. We need some fats. I didn't say to eat high fat necessarily bad fats, that's omega-6s, but to eat some good fats is important. Sugar's the main problem. I have a food pyramid, which you see like in species as you walk in. You see it as you go into the restrooms, one on the male and the female side, and food pyramids at the bottom, high, and mainly vegetables. Meats on the top. I'm not that hot on eating a lot of meat. I didn't say no meat, just not much, because they're full of cancer factors, cholesterol, insulin growth factors, unhealthy things that you don't need in your life. So if you like a copy of my food pyramid, you can go to the Three Rivers Pharmacy in town or attend my lectures at Elephant Hospital. You can pick it up free and post it, say, in your refrigerator. Then I have a culture of wellness circle about 8 things that lead to great health. Number 1 is participate in your health care. You can't just be here, see you in a year. That's not going to do it. You must participate in your health care. Then your family and you is more likely to be healthy. Nutrition is number 1, and this is what we're speaking about today. That's number 1. Exercise, 20% of it. Exercise is important. It puts you in the right mood, but proper nutrition is number 1. So you need to know, hey, what's good and what's bad food, okay? Number 2 is physical exercise. That's about 20%. It puts you in the right mood. You're more likely to be healthy if you do something regularly. Some have more time than others. If you can, for example, walk at work, exercise at work, maybe get a stand-up desk or computer desk where you're standing up, tripling your calorie burn when you're using that computer, and don't have sitting disease where you sit all day. If you sit for 2 hours, it's like smoking a pack of cigarettes. That's been proven. Look at my YouTube shows and look for sitting disease. I'll give you a 1-hour show for free. Very, very easy. Just go to YouTube, Rudy Kachmann, and put in sitting disease, and bang, you get a 1-hour free lecture from that. Number 3 is spirituality. I think people who have faith for example, tend to have better habits, more likely to have a healthy life, and that's important in a lot of people's lives. And I fully respect everyone's religion, so as in spirituality is important. I like people to know the mind-body connection, that this mind of ours, our thought process, affects receptors on our cells throughout our body. Every cell in our body has receptors on them, and a positive thought process will put out neurotransmitters, hormones, neuropeptides that hit these receptors and make your whole body feel good. Most people do not know the mind-body connection. It's hard to believe, but it's true. It's still not taught much in medical schools. Candace Pert wrote a book called Molecules of Emotion. I wrote a book called Welcome to Your Mind-Body, that your thought process affects your body. I'd like you to know about that. I want you to do blood testing on at least yearly. Personally, I think, they'll start at age 30, 40. No, blood testing should start age 1 or 2. Every year, put it in a computer or write it in a book and follow the blood testing of your child. And as an adult, every year at least, if you have like diabetes, other diseases, maybe every 3 months. That way you can catch yourself very early. If you get a disease process, catch it very early, prevent it. I was reading a book just the other day because I had a friend at pickleball who had pancreatic cancer, so I got me a book this thick. A half a page of this 500-page book was devoted to prevention. I mean, how ridiculous can you get? How ridiculous can you get? Because we ought to prevent our illnesses if you can. So participating in your health care, I think, is very important. I don't want you to be a vegetarian, a person that does not eat meat, fish, fowl, or products made thereof, to have a little bit of meat, perhaps some turkey. I'm not too hard on chicken. That's 40% fat and it's full of chemicals. I don't eat beef, pork, or lamb. I don't like the killing of animals. That stopped me right there. If you see how they kill animals to be on your plate, it isn't that hard to stop eating a lot of meat. They're full of cancer factors, nitrosamine, cholesterol, no vitamins, no fiber. So meat's not a health food product. You want cancer, eat meat 7 days a week. Okay, much higher incidence. So I didn't say they had to be that. A vegan who doesn't eat meat, dairy, fish, fowl, or dairy, I didn't ask you to be that. On the subject of dairy, though, I want you to get a second opinion by reading a book by Joe Keon called Whitewash. Read that book. Full of references. It amazes me. You will not drink milk again. Yeah, I read that book a few years ago, and I cannot believe that many illnesses are related to milk. Cow's milk is meant for baby cows. It has different proteins, different carbohydrates, different fats, totally different. Mouse's for milk, for example, it doubles its weight in a week. Yeah, a cow can be 1,000 pounds in a year. They have a lot of hormones in them, a lot of pesticides in them. They give more hormones to milk while they have them in a cage. That's how they do it. And they milk them by machine. And to increase the yield of milk, they give them hormones. Well, when you do that and your kid drinks the milk, guess what? They're getting the hormones, which causes them to have menstruation starts earlier. They have a longer life of estrogen, the hormone, which increases their breast cancer rates. So forget about milk. I use Pellegrino water with lemon and lime, or water with lemon and lime. I don't miss it at all. But I want you to read it for a second opinion, okay? And so don't eat anything with a mother or face. Yeah, chicken's not health food. Some people think, the southern dish of chicken's a health food. 40% fat in chicken. And if you see how they raise them, they put them in a little cage, and they feed them genetically modified corn, and the chicken eats the corn, then you eat the chicken. You're not eating the chicken, you're eating the corn. Yeah, that's full of modified, genetically changed corn. It's not the C4 corn of Mexico. This is totally different corn. Your body's not used to it. It's not healthy. Another way to look at it, the flexitarian diet, to be flexible, okay? You don't have to be a vegan, a vegetarian, 70–80% fruits of color, they are your mother, okay? And some fish that's been raised in the ocean, okay? Not in a farm pond. In a farm pond, they feed it genetically modified corn. And so what are you eating when you eat most fish today? You're eating corn. Whatever the animal ate is what you're eating. So ask where it came from. It needs to be from the ocean. A lot of times now they do farming in the ocean, but they still give them extra stuff to eat, which is usually genetically changed food products. You want it uncaged, organic food is what you want. Here I have a picture I'd like to show you of a gorilla. Here. You see him there? His name's David. He's in the San Diego Zoo. I met David years ago when I was with Dr. Joe Furman's seminars near San Diego, and I went to the zoo. I was 1 inch away from him, yeah, and a beautiful female laying there with her gray hair, and they eat vegetables. And you say, I need my protein. Well, let me tell you something. All he does is eat vegetables. And look at this most beautiful guy. Doesn't he look like a movie star? But he's looking like the vegetables that he's eating. So if you go to San Diego Zoo, say, hi, David. Says, I'm a friend of Rudy. Okay, it's a true story. And so that's a flexitarian. You're flexible. Another way to look at it is my friend Dr. Joe Furman, who published many books, End of Diabetes, End of Disease. You can go on and on. He's very famous. He was in town recently to give a talk, but he told me, because the day of the lecture we played tennis, and he said, Rudy, I came to town to play you tennis. I believed him because the last time I beat him, and he's an Olympic skating mixed athlete, yeah, so last time I beat him, and this time it was a tie, okay? And so Dr. Furman would say nutritarian, nutrient-dense way of eating. I encourage you to look at his DVDs and his books. Very knowledgeable. That's what I'm teaching, plus other people. Mark Hyman, for example. Everybody varies a little bit, but I like Furman, frankly, the best. So he calls him a nutritarian, a person who eats highly nutrient-dense food, okay? Foods of color, generally. But you can have onions, mushrooms, they don't have color and they're full of nutrients. It's the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals, their interaction that run the machinery of your body and that lead to good health. That's where the secret's at. That's where the secret's at. So health, Dr. Furman would say, equals the nutrient density divided by calories. That determines your health. What type of food are you eating? Remember, no diet, type of food. So is what I'm saying complex? Not that complex, except sugar addicts most of us. So because we have to eat every day, it's not always easy, but most people can detox less sugar eating a couple of weeks for most people. But nature designed in us the quick fix, dopamine and serotonin centers. So even I come home tonight and I told you there's a donut laying there, I might grab it. So none of us get over it completely. You just have to find better snacks, okay? And so I want you to eat whole foods, okay? Full of vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals. It's that symphony of interaction that lead to good health. So what are some eating guidelines? Eat some raw vegetables, about 1 pound a day. Cooked vegetables, 1 pound a day. Cooking actually releases more calories, yeah. So raw is important. A cup of beans is good, full of fiber, for example. Complex carbohydrates, has protein in them. And while we're speaking about protein, you know, people used to say, well, the athletes, well, I need my protein, they're taking supplements. It's actually not necessary. We need about 1/2 gram of protein per pound. If you're an athlete, maybe 0.75 grams per pound, so it's not a lot. So a 10–15% protein diet is all you need to have strong, great-looking muscles. depending on your age, of course, okay? So nuts are full of good proteins, good fiber, has some carbohydrates. They kill the appetite quickly, too. If I get hungry late in the day or something and I'm prone to eat something sweet, I have 4 or 5 nuts, bang, appetite's gone about 2 or 3 minutes. And about a pound of fresh fruit. Again, fruit is full of good fibers, has some sugars in them, but like fructose, but they're full of fiber. So generally there's no limit. Like even Weight Watchers, who I agree with partially because they give you 0 points. Eat all you want of fruits and vegetables. Just like I say, the trouble is the rest of the food is highly addictive, although they limit it, but you won't get over food addiction. I mean, some do, but it's very difficult because they're eating 30 points worth of addictive food. So I'm a little concerned about it. I tell you a good habit to form, which I do every day, and I think you're probably 50% there. Yeah, 50% there if you have a smoothie every day. Yeah, they're done with a blender. You can buy one for $100. You can buy Vitamix, it's more expensive, which is fine too. But you can buy one. If you attend my lectures, actually, Sheila Walker from the Three Rivers Pharmacy in town, a wonderful lady with a big heart, donates one smoothie to every lecture that I give at Lutheran Hospital once a month. You can go to Facebook and find the schedule. And we give people a number as they walk in. And recently, we actually gave away 2 because I had met a kid in the neighborhood, 10 years old, disabled child, who was carrying books. Well, I took full advantage of that. I gave him some free books, and I told him to attend my lecture. And when we pulled the numbers, remember I had two machines that day, and he was given a phony win. I arranged that he won the other one because he said he wanted to be a chef. So now he's got my cookbook. I gave him Dr. Furman's Quick Fix cookbook and a smoothie machine, and he cooks. Yeah, this family had adopted 10 disabled children. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. God bless them, right? And my friend David, this little 10-year-old disabled child, cooks twice a week and does a smoothie every day. See, in a smoothie, you're taking a lot of vegetables and fruit, and kale is at the bottom. You can go to Facebook, Kachmann, a lot of recipes on there, and I'm writing a book on that too. And you can get other books. There's so many vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals in them. The smoothie, the machine breaks up the cellular structure and releases all the chemicals, and it's extremely healthy and satisfy your appetite. Here it's like eating a huge salad, except you started your day that way. So every day I have a smoothie. That's 50% there to good health. Yeah, 50%. You won't get, I don't get hungry till late in the day because of that, okay? And if the rest of the day you eat reasonably healthy, this is going to be an easy road for you. So I think a smoothie a day will keep the doctor away. And obviously not 100% of the people, but over 90% of the people, a great way to start the day. If I'm in a hurry, I put a straw in it, and I might be drinking, while I'm at the red light, okay? And so I could be eating my breakfast that way. I did it today. So I like the idea of a smoothie. And it's a synergistic effect of all the great foods in there. And get different recipes. Have a different one every day if you want, or the same one, whatever. Some people even save a third, and that's their snack in the evening. That's a good habit. If you could make, say, 20% of that is your snack at night, it's not that donut or anything sweet. Instead, you drink a smoothie. I think that's a good one. I think that's a good one. What are America's top veggies? Ketchup, French fries, onion rings, all full of bad fats and sugars lead to bad health. We're eating in America the bad diet. And I'm not being critical here, but the truth of the matter, 1 out of 2 people in this nation, pre-diabetic. The trouble with that is all the complications of type 2 diabetes with its 50 illnesses at least, heart attacks, strokes, dementia, can occur in pre-diabetes. Remember I said about the testing? Get testing done early. Fasting blood sugar, serum insulin, HbA1c, that's sort of a 3-month sugar thing, can even be done in children. I was reading an article yesterday. I'd like you to catch it earlier before the rise of the HbA1c, but HbA1c is also a good screening test. Serum insulin comes up before the blood sugar. We'll diagnose you 10, 15 years before your time. Lose 5, 10 pounds of weight. You don't get these serious illnesses. Isn't that wonderful news? Yeah. Prevention, prevention, prevention. And the government is not doing it. This is shameful, shameful. So the mad diet, a lot of meat eating, dairy products. Remember Joe Keon, Whitewash, that book I want you to read. Cheese, calorie dense, addictive. Yeah, in cheese, in milk products, they have in it what's called casomorphone. Casomorphone has been discovered, which makes you feel great. So some people are addicted to cheese because it has a little bit of a type morphine in there. I saw a guy from Sweden present a PowerPoint on that recently at a wellness meeting, and so remember the baby is given milk and kind of falls asleep. It's the casomorphone many times that does it. Trans fats should be avoided. That's where they take vegetable oils, add a hydrogen, and turn it, into margarine. That's trans fat. They're very dangerous. Okay. Refined foods. What are refined foods? The fast foods. That's where the brand and the germ have been removed from the vegetable, and you're looking at very unhealthy food. That's what you get at fast food restaurants most of the time. And I was sitting in one this morning reading the paper, and out walks an unhealthy-looking mother with maybe a 4-year-old unhealthy, and they're both having a nice sugary coffee, a nice sugary drink. What's their future? They're going to die 25 years younger, 20, maybe 30 years of disability, amputations, unannounced heart attacks, strokes. Incidentally, 70% of diabetes, the biggest cause of dementia and Alzheimer's disease, diabetes. They don't tell you that. These companies are all looking for this one drug. It's diabetes 70% of the time. And I can tell you the names of the books to read if you see me, because my next monthly lecture at Lutherans will be on memory. And so I'll educate you about that, okay? So stress control is important. If we get stressed, we like to eat that sugary product because I'm in heaven. Just like smoking a cigarette or having a drink or marijuana. We're just heading our way. I'm doing the best I can. Incidentally, you can look on Amazon Books. I wrote a book there. I think you ought to read it. Here, CBD oil, Indiana's Road to Marijuana. Read this. Read it in one night. You can read it in one night. Very simple to read. And what the government is doing to you is unconscionable. Unconscionable. They passed this law that you can buy CBD oil in gas stations, stores all over the place. You see the signs lately. But they forgot to tell you that CBD turns off the 450 cytochrome enzyme in the liver that detoxifies the drugs you are already taking. So these drugs that you're already taking, the CBD, will either upgrade or downgrade those drugs, and it could kill you. Okay? I got another book in the mail. Yesterday, they found now that marijuana, that's been known, but is emphasized. I like confirmation of what I'm saying, saying that schizophrenia, paranoia, and increased criminality are associated with marijuana. Yeah. Berenson is the name of the author, Berenson. And I have it at home. I haven't totally read it. But it confirms what I've been saying, confirms my book. So you can get it on Amazon, very cheap. And I'm not selling books here, information. I wanted to get information to you. food is a drug. Food's a drug, okay? So I put together, I'd like you to have a look at this here a little bit, an illustration which I put together right there on top. That is insulin resistance. You can get a copy of that. I have it in color now at the Three Rivers Pharmacy or my lectures. I'll have it available to you. And what this is saying is, remember I spoke about before that every cell in your body has receptors on it, okay? What happens is that once we gain weight, but there are the trophies that thin on the outside but fat on the inside. So blood tests are really it, but these receptors are full of triglycerides, okay? Sugar is converted to triglycerides. Mm-hmm. And insulin, which is supposed to transport sugar into the cell for energy, cannot do that because of these fats, okay? All right. So visualize that, insulin. So that's the reason I say get a serum insulin test. Your doctor says you get a pot belly and your doctor says you don't have diabetes. Baloney, 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 with a rare exception. He needed to pull a serum insulin, okay? But insulin has other jobs besides bringing sugar in, okay? Insulin also opens the door to your cells to allow fat in. Yeah, so the cells get bigger, and that's why you gain weight. Yeah, and that's the reason insulin is a problem. Insulin itself, you think it's curing me, it's helping me. Well, we need you to save some lives, but I'll be honest with you, it causes a lot of this disease because remember what I said, it's insulin's job to bring sugar into the cell. So it opens the door a little bit because they have trouble opening the door. The pancreas works real hard and insulin levels go up. But the sugar is normal. Now it's filling the cell full of sugar. So the cell door opens, allows some sugar to go into the bloodstream. Insulin sees there's more sugar. Insulin level goes even higher. Do you see my point? Yeah. Opens the door to the cell, allows fat in. That's why people, they call insulin an anabolic hormone. It makes you gain weight. So it's the answer to your diabetes, insulin. For the type 1 diabetic, where you don't have any insulin, certainly a certain amount of insulin has value, but it does other things. It stiffens the arteries. Now they find out that in our brain, we have an enzyme, okay? Insulin degrading enzyme, IDE, okay? IDE's job is to degrade insulin, which puts sugar in our brain to make the brain work, okay? The only trouble is IDE's other job is to degrade amyloid protein, which is the biggest cause of Alzheimer's disease. So if you have a high insulin level, okay, it's got to push sugar in the brain. It's being used up, okay, and the ID enzyme is the one who metabolizes the insulin, okay. It's supposed to get rid of it, okay, but it's all used up because the insulin level is so high. It doesn't degrade the amyloid and gets it out of the body, and the patient gets dementia and Alzheimer's disease. It's the biggest cause of Alzheimer's disease, 70% of it, type 2 diabetes. So we don't need to be looking for that one magical drug the pharmaceutical industries are spending billions of dollars on. I'm glad they're doing research. You should always do research. But if we get rid of a type 2 diabetes, your odds of getting dementia and lose your mind goes way down. Here's a big one for you. Big one, but most people are not aware of that. So to me, that's a pretty important thing to get healthy. So a smoothie a day, remember, will keep the doctor away. We know about the MAD diet, and you've learned now about insulin that is anabolic. It helps make you fat. But some people need to save their life. Oh, no doubt about it. Our macronutrients, the ones that we need every day, you know, protein, fat, and fiber. You already know that you don't need to worry too much about the protein. You don't need to eat meat to get big muscles. You can do it off of vegetables. Plenty of great athletes actually are vegetarians. I didn't ask you to be a vegetarian, but they don't eat meat at all, but they have great muscles because there's so many amino acids, 21 of them, in vegetables. Okay, yeah. And let's talk about fats for a minute. Good fats are guacamole and olives and nuts. Those are good fats. But the fats from animals are full of cholesterol, insulin growth factors, which lead to cancer, increased rates of cancer, nitrous amines, which cause your body to also get cancerous. Okay, then we get the and then we have the micronutrients, the vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, 25,000 haven't been all discovered yet. We have in our body also called eicosanoids. Those are fats, 18 to 21 carbon. Okay, they're the essential fatty acids. They run the internet of our body. Before living things had lungs and a heart, for example, to pump everything around. How did the body communicate? Through eicosanoids. They jump from cell to cell, and these membranes on these cells are made of some fats. Yeah, in photosynthesis, the energy of the sun comes in the leaf, and will put sugar in there, but also will put some fats in there, some good fats that we need. So these eicosanoids are then the intel chips of our body. Okay, 500 million years old. Nothing new about them. Okay, they're super hormones. They're no gland. They're still hormones. Okay, but you have to eat the precursor. That's omega-3, and we do need a few omega-6 fats. Yeah, so eating good fats is important. Mark Hyman even wrote a book called "Eat Fat and Be Thin." When for 50 years the government has said fat's bad, eat sugar. Ansel Keys, CDC, NIH, all these people told us to eat fat when they knew it too. I can show you the books. It's well written up that Mark Hegstead from Harvard, I don't think he's alive today, those guys have paid a lot of money to say that fat was the problem, including Ansel Keys, when it wasn't. And they knew it too. They knew it too. And so you got to act. The government, industry will not do it for you. You must participate in your health care. Okay? Here's a couple of pictures, and you can get a cover of this you can get this PowerPoint at the Three Rivers Pharmacy. You attend my lectures. I have some before and after photographs here. See right there? Would you believe it? These two lovely ladies. Look at this. Look at the picture. Yeah, look at the pictures. I mean, they look like movie stars now. It's a true story. All they did is start eating the right food. Yeah. And I have a truck driver, too, who I had met at Planet Fitness, weighed 380. And he asked me, Dr. Kachmann, you teach people sometimes how to get healthy. I don't give lectures there. Matter of fact, they don't allow it, but I was in the locker room. So I taught him. I didn't remember him because he weighed 210 now. I have a picture of him later, too. He used to weigh 380. He was driving a truck from California through Fort Wayne, parked his truck. He was delivering buffalo meat to Buffalo Wings and the restaurant next door because I saw it on the lunch menu. And then he walked me outside to show me his truck. And then I remembered him because he had asked me to look into his truck. And I measured the distance around the truck for exercise. We took steps. And he did it twice a day. And he was driving his truck, sitting most of the time, but eating nutrient-dense food. I even saw his little refrigerator, had good food in it. Almost fell out backwards out of the truck. You're in the truck, it's like that. But it's a great story. He weighs 210 now. Looks like a movie star. Remember what I said? Just like these ladies, there's biomathematics in good food. It will rearrange your body, and you will you'll look great. It's wonderful news. Yeah, this is actually a picture of him here. If I could show that to you, see the guy standing in front of the truck. Yeah, that's him. And at the bottom of that is Rudy's plate. I'll describe that to you a little bit. Half non-starchy vegetables, some lean proteins. You know, it can be some meats, but I prefer if you had some nuts. You get trouble stopping eating big-time meats and think of what the animal had to go through to get on your plate. Maybe you'll change your mind. But like I said, it's up to you. And another quarter, whole grains or starchy vegetables. Okay, I didn't say, but so. And remember what I said. Plant protein is a lot healthier, and you don't need animal protein to have huge muscles. Okay, most plants have protein in them. Even a baked potato is 6%. Has about 6 grams. Average size has about 6 grams of protein. Although there's sugar, so if you're diabetic, you may watch that a little bit, but I have a big sweet potatoes are a little better. So oils are a processed food. The 100% fat, 120 calories per tablespoonful. So I wouldn't do a lot of that, but use some saute your food or a little bit on a salad. But if you're gobbling it on, you can easily add 500-800 calories onto your salad. So be careful about that. And restaurants are a problem. You eat that twice a day, you got a problem. I probably know 10 multimillionaires in this town, extremely successful companies, extremely nice people, and they're all unhealthy because they're eating the wrong food. They're eating that twice a day, and I don't see how a person could survive that. Even once a day, if you don't watch it, can be dangerous. You got to speak to your waiter and know about salt contents or different things. I know restaurants you could go to every time I weigh myself an extra up 2 pounds. Why? Very salty food. Salt increases, it's like sugar, increases your appetite, okay? And desserts are more difficult to resist because they show them to a cue. You see that and serotonin and dopamine go up right away. So cruciferous vegetables, which are arugula, bok choy, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, collards, horseradish, kale, mustard greens, radishes, cabbage, turnips, greens, watercress, all they have as a flower while they're growing look like crosses, so they call them cruciferous. They're full of complex carbohydrates, excellent to eat. Eat all you want. Eat all you want. Mix them all together in a salad bowl, or to whatever else you're eating. They're going to lead to great health. They kill cancer cells, remove carcinogens. They're cancer fighters, cause weight loss. Yeah, you eat that way, you lose about probably a pound a week. You have a smoothie, big salad at night, you're going to lose a pound a week. Yeah, that's a lot of weight loss. Okay, so when you're reading labels, also look for the first product on the list, and I suggest you don't eat anything as a label. Okay. But if you do, you'll learn to read the labels properly. Incidentally, soda pops are 50% of overweight and unhealthy problem. 50%. Mm-hmm. And the substitutes, including stevia, which is the best of them, are not good for you because stevia is 300 times more sweet than sugar. So what's the next thing you're going to eat? Okay? Mm-hmm. What's the next thing you're going to eat? To read the labels. Read how much sugar is in there. It can even say health food. It can even say no sugar. But if you read the labels, sugar has 50 different names that fool you. That say sugar's from nature. Well, still sugar, okay? Unless it has fiber. That's the reason I'm not for juicing, because it's, incidentally, juicing versus smoothies, juicing, it takes a lot more product, okay? And they take the fiber and throw it away. Although I know somebody does that regularly, a pediatrician, and feeds it to his dog, and the dog is addicted to the vegetables of the smoothie, of the juicing. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Cleaning machine is work. You got to take it all apart. doing juicing is a lot more difficult. And although they might say, well, that increases the nutrients even more, but I tell you, this movie does a good enough job. I think juicing, I'm not too hard on, although there'll be guys who'll recommend it. And so grains, cereals, pastas, breads, they're carriers of calories, okay? And so 100% whole grain, nothing in between, first on the label. So whole oats, whole wheat, whole rye, buckwheat, kasha, whole corn, whole corn, some wheat, okay, but limit them because they're calorie dense. Oatmeal might be a bit better. Steel-cut oatmeals might be better for breakfast, but again, there's sugar in there. Dr. Furman, my friend Dr. Furman, Joel Furman, has published a nutrient density score. How many nutrients are in this food? And that's a good one. And you can get it in his books. And you probably even could print it off the internet. There it is right there. Kale, for example, would get 1,000 points. Watercress, mustard, collard, 1,000 points. Bok choy, 824. Spinach, 739. Cabbage, 481. He scores them all. And just to give you some idea, you don't need to count up necessarily the point, but he called them Andy scores, aggregate nutrient density. I think it's great that he did that, and I want you to be aware of that, okay? Like I said, white bread probably give you 10 points, if that, okay? Important thing in testing over the years, remember, I want you to get yearly testing. Yearly testing is how do you catch it early? Metabolic syndrome is something that is used if you have elevated blood pressure, if you put insulin resistance in the middle, okay? Large waist conference is as good as a blood test. You get a pot belly, 90% chance you're, I hate to tell you, diabetic or pre-diabetic. Your doctor might say, you're not diabetic, unless he checked the serum insulin and checked your triglyceride, HDL ratio, your HbA1c. They don't know for sure, okay? So men should be 40 inches, would be clearly overweight, okay? 35 to 40 would be overweight, and obese would be 40, okay? And women, 35, but it's different racial groups. Asians have smaller waists, so in certain groups, blacks, for example, are more likely to get diabetes because in slavery, they starved them to death and they ate sugar cane to stay alive. That changed their genetic structure, so they're much more likely to get type 2 diabetes. I see it. I've dealt with it. And I think the NAACP should make people aware of it because what accompanies type 2 diabetes you don't want: amputations, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, heart attacks, and strokes. I try to point this out to people because I don't want people to be disabled, to die young. If you get diabetes, you're probably going to die 20 years younger, 25 years of disability. Amputations and canes and wheelchairs are common. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to prevent that. Okay, so the path to diabetes by getting blood tests done, HbA1c, serum insulin, glucose tolerance test, where you check the blood sugar and run an insulin level with it. Without an insulin level, it won't do it. And try to keep your triglycerides under 75. I like triglycerides, TRI/HDL, your heavenly cholesterol. That ratio gives you an idea whether you're on the path to diabetes. And some people speak about glycemic load. What it amounts to really is the amount of high sugary foods you're eating. You know, if you're working out like anything and you're eating more sugary foods, that may replace the glycogen you used up in your exercise. Well, you might get away with it, okay? But unless you can prove it to me. You are what your blood tests show me. What you eat has tremendous effect on your biome. Your bacteria live in your gut. You are what your gut is, your biome. I have a great PowerPoint on that. You can pick up at the pharmacy in your biome. I think it'd be very good for you to have. Sheila Walker at the Three Rivers Pharmacy will give it to you right here. The Garden of Life, right there. Our microbiome, the gut biome solution. Those trillions of bacteria run your body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what's nice to know is that each bacteria lifespan 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. The mucosa, one cell layer thick, lifespan 24 hours. So what does that mean if you get type 2 diabetes? It means if you change the way you eat, Mark Hyman would say your blood sugar could be normal in 1 week. So when you see these diabetic centers around the country and all the incident is writing you a prescription, some need it, but I'm telling you, the first thing they should be handing you is how to get rid of it. Get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. You'll avoid 50 diseases. Instead, they deal with prescriptions. Remember I said that prescriptions actually can make your diabetes worse. You notice how you have to take more insulin all the time? Why is that? Because you could listen to my previous story about the insulin putting sugar in the cell, and then the sugar comes out and insulin level goes up, and that causes, you see, it's a merry-go-round. You're on a merry-go-round. Get rid of the merry-go-round. And I can show you book after book after book that tell you that. So what do we recommend? Low glycemic index foods, whole grains, legumes, fruits, omega-3 fats. This will increase your basic metabolic rate, the activity of your heart, lungs, brain, the calories they burn, about 200 calories a day. You divide that into 3,500 calories, that's 1 pound, that's 20 pounds in a year. Just by eating the right food, easily lose 20 pounds. If you're overweight, probably 1 pound a week at least, probably more. So what helps suppress your appetite? A full stomach does, so you put a lot of water in there, okay? And we have hormones in our brain and our body which are affected by a biome. So it depends on what you're feeding your biome here, okay? Reduce sodium. Sodium stimulates it, so don't add salt to your food, okay? Reduce stress. We all get some stress, but do some things like I do. You know, I work out, take tap dance lessons. Yeah, play tennis, pickleball. You may not have the time, but I'm a busy guy. I seem to find the time. Maybe get up early. I take a walk in nature almost every day. Different clothes for different temperatures. Okay. Chew food slowly because it releases the chemical satiety and will turn your appetite off. Okay. If you're starting with a glass of wine, that'll stimulate your appetite. If they show you desserts before you even start, that's a problem. Tell them to take that dessert tray away. The cue, if you walk into a dinner or something, don't look at the desserts first because you will not be able to resist them, okay? And remember what I said about chewing a few nuts, maybe an hour before dinner? It'll turn your appetite down, produce satiety. So psychology of eating, we spoke before about serotonin and dopamine that nature designed to make you feel good, so you would seek something to eat to keep you alive, okay? And that serotonin is a quick fix. That's the cigarette, the alcohol, the marijuana fix. Or like myself, music or dancing is enhancing. Taking a walk in nature, like I do almost every day. So, so if hunger is not what you have, food's not the answer. So if you come home at night and you're stressed and stuff, think of something else to satisfy that stress besides some addictive behavior. It's not always easy. It's difficult. I'm not blaming you. I'm just trying to help you to develop ways of reducing your stress in life is good. I recently gave a wellness talk at a factory where 70% of the guys were smoking cigarettes. Not because they don't know or they're nasty people. They get stress of life. We all got it. But if your finances are running tight, for example, you know, you get bills to pay, and honey, we got to pay this bill, and you don't have any money in the bank, lighting up a cigarette make you feel a little better. People do that, but you got to find a different way, or a different way of handling stress. I tell you a good one. I follow. Everybody's got stress, including me. After 7 o'clock at night, I don't allow, and I learned this from Norman Vincent Peale in New York. He wrote all those books. He was a minister. Power of Positive Thinking. I don't allow stressful things to be discussed after 7 o'clock at night. And I use 7 in the morning, 12 hours, no stress. That helps. You sleep better. And Norman Vincent Peale would say, all my stresses belong to God. That's what he says. Okay, no matter what you believe or what. It's a wonderful habit. I've been following that one for years. I think it's a good one. I went to visit his church one time. It's in New York. And you know who also went to his church for years? Donald Trump. Yeah, that's a true story. That's a true story. They loved to see me there because they wouldn't let me go because I had read all his books. Fascinating day I had there. So, in essence, we're recommending, in summary, we're recommending, you know, vegetables, legumes, fruit, whole grains, low glycemic units food. You exercise if you can, half hour a day. Maybe try to do it at work. For example, use a stand-up desk, so lift some weights, or take a walk for lunch. And eating out is a problem, so you must participate in your health care. But we want you to have a wonderful year, a happy year. One out of 2 people is very unhealthy, and we try to change that. And if you watch my TV shows, listen to my radio shows, Public Access 95.7 radio, Comcast 57. For example, you can see me personally for free Friday mornings at the Three Rivers Pharmacy. Attend my lectures, look at my Facebook page, or type in YouTube, Rudy Kachmann, bungo, about 500 TV shows will show up, all for free, almost all on health, stress, and gluten, and milk, whatever you want to hear about is there for nothing. Why am I doing this? Because I care about you. I love you. I'm a doctor, okay? I'm a doctor. And if you have any ideas, something you'd like to hear about or do a show with me, just let me. To me, this looks like a golden opportunity. I'm going to ask you for a favor to help me a little bit on this CBD oil, Indiana's road to marijuana. Speak to your congressman, your legislator, because I alone will not get it done. I'm sending a copy of this book to every one of these guys. I ordered 100 of them, and Sheila Walker at the pharmacy knows somebody in Annapolis, going to put it on the desk of every representative and congressman in the state of Indiana. That doesn't mean they have the heart to change. Some of them do. I know them. Some would. So I call upon their conscience, because if they take us to marijuana, and you see the latest book that I'm reading, they can cause schizophrenia, paranoia, increased violence, and many other things. It doesn't really work very well as medicinal. In California and Colorado, incidentally, all the medical marijuana businesses closed since they legalized Maine marijuana, because people were going there just to get the THC. That's why they went there. Let's not kid each other, okay? I love you. Namaste, and let's have a great year. If you see me, give me a hug. I'll probably hug you back. and attend my talks and watch my TV shows. I'm for a healthier Indiana, and believe me, we are going to do it. Namaste.